So, Steven Simmons, welcome in the Netherlands. You just played your first gig. How was it?
It felt great. The audience was great. The room sounded really good, and we got a lot of really good, the vibe, the feedback, from the audience was very, very good. So it felt great.
What did you expect before you came to the Netherlands? What does an artist expect from a country he's never been?
Well, I mean, on some level, you don't know what to expect, but at the same time, I had been told that people in Holland were very educated about roots music, and that the fans were very educated, and they were very attentive and everything. So I had heard that, but you never know till you get to a show and everything. And so I would say that the show here, especially this show, this is only our third show. We've got like 6 more here before we go to the UK. I would say this show by far exceeded my expectations. The room was, I don't know how many people that room holds, but
it was full.
It was full, and people were, and they were, it was quiet, like there were 10 people. So, that's the best feeling in the world. So,
can you see the people in the crowd, or is how you look in the dark?
Well, you can see some of them, but I don't look at people. I focused in on a couple.
Sorry, Steven, introduce your buddy.
Oh yeah, this is Dave Coleman. He is I claim him as my guitar player, but he also fronts his own band called the Coleman, who are also in Nashville, Tennessee. And we, as I said tonight at the show, we've been playing music together. Like my band and his band used to play shows, and then I stole him and said, no, come play guitar for me because.
He's still in the Coleman.
Oh, yeah, he still has his own thing, but he goes out with me too. So it's like.
How did you meet?
Shows. I think at shows. I think the first time I ever saw you play was at an old coffee shop in Nashville. What was the place? Was that place over on the West End?
The one that Shelley.
Yeah, Shelley used to.
It's not around.
It's gone now, so it doesn't matter. But years ago, we saw each other play, and he had a song called "Gray Skies" that blew me away. It's on that first record. That's called. So, but yeah, we've been playing together for a long time, and it's been fun. But what I was gonna say is seeing the crowd. Like, it was a great crowd, but every now and then sometimes I'm kind of shy. I'm really focused on playing guitar, but I could see one girl. And I just wanted to impress her. I just was like, there's so many people here, okay, I'm going to try and forget about that. It's that girl. I want her to pay attention.
You succeed.
I try.
Are you professionals both?
Oh, yeah.
You can live from music, making music?
We live the most part, yeah.
Wait, I thought when I saw the first reviews and I heard your record, a very serious guy.
Now you don't think that?
Not anymore, no.
People have so many sides to them, We've talked to a bunch of it. When you write songs, a lot of times you get up there and you play your songs and you take on this persona as somebody different maybe than just a individual interaction, but it's funny, you have different personalities and you have different things to say. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Riding high on me, or what is it?
Yeah, you're an actor, I mean, you're on stage, you're an actor, and like every song is different, like you're one moment you're playing first person and you're singing, you're Lucifer, you're the devil in that song, and then the next song maybe you're the heartbroken God, and the next song it's just, you're playing different parts,
I know, but in the reviews and in the stories about you, every time they say he comes from a very religious family, and
right. Because of the music, because of the stuff that people have heard, but it's like I am, and Dave will back that up. I'm not nearly as serious as my poster looks, or this, because we were telling a guy in an interview the other day that it's like, maybe some people would be surprised to know I write funny songs too, but it's like, because I write all sorts of different songs, but I've only had 2 albums out over here, and they both have, I keep my albums focused, on like the same concept. So, you know what I mean? You don't put a funny song on a record with a song about the devil and Jesus, and you know what I mean? Like, it needs to fit together. So
there will be a record with funny songs.
Maybe one day, but they'll all be different, like the themes will be different, and so, but like people only know what they've been presented with, what they've heard, but like then they meet me in person and they realize that I'm not as, I can be very serious, but usually when I'm just hanging out at shows, not very serious.
Steve's got a new record, third record coming out in Randall pretty soon. That's called, is it New Scratches? Is that the title?
So I guess it's called Something in Between.
Something in Between, yeah. And but it's
play on it.
Well, the record has a lot of songs on it more about relationships than about Jesus or God or hell or the devils. It's about people, you know, and inner reactions, and those reactions are, I don't know, hopefully they haven't as much impact as stories about fire and brimstone, you know. But,
You live in Nashville?
Yeah,
How important is it to be in Nashville as a singer-songwriter?
I don't know about how important it is.
No, so they choose between Austin, Nashville.
Austin is a great town, and I love it. I was there last month. I'm going back in a couple of months to play.
South by Southwest?
Yeah, I was there for South by Southwest, and I'll be back in June to play some shows. But as great of a town as it is, and it's fun to play live music, like Nashville is, live music doesn't pay as well in Nashville as it does in Austin. You know, like in Austin, like people can make a really good living just playing live music. In Nashville, you can't really make a good living just playing live, but like all the labels are there, the publishers are there, you know what I mean? Like all the business structure is there, and then all the other artists are there. So it's a good place to be as an artist. But if you just want to play bass or drums for a living, maybe Austin's better, you know what I mean? And it's kind of, Texas is its own little world, you know what I mean? People like, they get huge inside of Texas, and then nobody ever knows who they are outside because it pays really good to just keep playing there. Versus if you live in Nashville, it doesn't pay shit to play. You know what I mean?
But why don't you move to Austin then?
Well, because he's an artist.
I'm a writer too, you know. But also, I was born in Tennessee. I was raised there, and I love it. I don't like. I love to visit other places, and I love Texas. I love. My mom's actually a park ranger, and so I love the country, but I love my roots. I love the place where I grew up in, and I can't leave. I can't go too far away for very, you know.
I was Nashville at night. You go out, you love to see bands play.
Yeah, it's cool because we live in a part of the town that you know, there's so many clubs within a small area, and my record collection, my favorite records consist of my neighbors, you know, and it's not because they're my friends, it's because they're fucking great musicians.
Yeah, well, what are your favorites?
Well, there's a bunch.
Camera.
Oh man, there's tons of them.
Whittily here applied.
Kevin Gordon is one of my favorites, you know. I played so many years with Dwayne Jarvis, and he was one of my mentors and heroes for a long time before I even met him, and playing with him was great. Rosie Flores. Some of these guys have gone on to other cities now, but there's still great folks in Nashville too. Paul Birch.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I mean, Rodney Crowell, Bobby Bear Jr. There's
Rodney Crowell? He's from Nashville.
No, he's from there, but he's lived there probably 30 years. You know,
yeah. I mean, I just got a chance to see Guy Clark the other day. You know, and he lives in Nashville.
He played there last night.
Yeah, it's great. You know, I mean, being around that atmosphere and knowing that that's who you're competing with makes you try and write better songs and play better.
I mean,
same.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, like a guy that plays with me a lot, and Dave knows him too, bass player Dave Jakes, Paul Griffith, you know, they play with John Prine, you know, and like, Dave was like, oh yeah, I was on the road with John, I was playing him some of your CD, listening to, you know, I played on it, you know, and he's like, hey, he likes it, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and then 2 days later, I'm at the record store, and it's like, you know, I look up and I was like, oh, that's John Prine. Like, you know, looking through the magazines and like, you know what I mean? It's like, and that happens in Nashville.
What did you say when John Prine talked to you?
I didn't say anything. No. I'm not that kind of, no.
You don't say I'm a singer-songwriter too?
No, because it just feels weird. It feels too,
yeah, I know what
you know, I mean, if you like here, like you meet people, you know,
talk,
and you talk, and you're all playing, but like if you just like, because I know how I am. If I'm at a store and somebody approaches me and says, "Oh, I saw you at such and such. I play too," and you're like, "Oh, okay," but you don't, you know, it's out of context, you know, and like, but you're at a show, you meet people, and it's like, and you know, and so I don't want to be, you know.
Who's the best unknown singer-songwriter from You don't know. Even
Best unknown.
best unknown artist.
So we're
we
not
have to
we're not unknown.
not here anymore.
Okay.
Who's really blowing?
I'm gonna say Mac Starks.
Next, Stark.
Mac Starks.
Starks.
That's the first name that comes to mind for me.
What kind of music?
It's very like roots rock, maybe with more of a little pop, but not much. I mean, he used to be in a band called Farmer Not So John.
Yeah, I know that.
And he was the singer-songwriter in Farmer Not So John, and the band broke up, and then he's put out a couple of records on his own, but he's an amazing songwriter, and artist and player, and I always feel like I need to
Mention it.
spread. Yeah, I just because he's also a friend of mine and Dave's too, but it's not that. It's not that he's a friend. I was an admirer long before I ever heard him.
Who would you mention?
Well, I think to me, one of my favorite people is Bob Delavante. He was in the Delavantes for years, and he's still making records. And he's just an amazing guy. He still writes great songs and plays great music. But he's also an amazing photographer. He's one of those guys who can do everything. And it makes me realize, and he's got a wonderful wife, beautiful family, and it's like, that guy's got it all. Like, if I could have that in my own life, in my own context, I'd be a lucky man. Because he's still writing great songs and playing great music. So, he's probably one of my favorites.
Guitar players also have their heroes.
Oh yeah. To me, Buddy Miller, and there's a guy in East Nashville, his name is Joe McMahon, and he plays with Kevin Gordon a lot. He's one of my favorites too.
He's on my new record.
Yeah, Joe.
Well, I would, first of all, the architecture of the towns, the buildings.
The old, the historic.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. It's that's very nice, and the women are beautiful. I have been blown away by how beautiful the women are in the Netherlands, and everybody is so warm and so nice, and the music fans at the concerts are so educated, and they know so much about music. And last night we ended the show with I played a song by this guy named Danny O'Keefe that nobody in America knows who the hell he is.
Oh, yeah.
And I had out of that small number of people, I had like 3 people come up and say, I love Danny O'Keefe, I heard all his records. I was like, wow, and that kind of tugs at my heart a little bit. So
to me, like people are people no matter where you go. Like I see, that's the funny thing to me. Like coming here from Nashville, like you see people who look like your best friend back home. Like you'll be walking down the street and like, oh, that's Tim. No, it's not. It's the Netherlands version of Tim. But people are people. But man, it's just, I think this place is just, it has so many things, and so many, everything from the way things are built, to the way people act, to the way the streets are made, and just the style. People have a lot of real grace about them, and I think it's a cool thing. I mean, we come from the South, which is beautiful in its kind of archaic sense, like we live with a lot of cavemen, and cave women, and that's a cool thing too. It's a great thing to write about, how realistic things can be. But coming here, I think there's something refined about it. People appreciate art, and that's why we're here. That's the only reason why we would make it here, is because people really
write a song.
Well, maybe not. Things like that are kind of like 9/11. Like you, as an artist, you can't force it. Or Katrina.
It has to be honest. It has to be really heartfelt.
There are a lot of songs about it.
Yeah, right, sure. And there are a lot of songs about 9/11. But it's like Dave has a song about Katrina on one of his records. I've got a song about 9/11, but nobody knows what it is because it's cloaked. It's on the record, but it's disguised. So
as a writer, you don't want to take advantage of somebody's
no,
pain
but
and
it can inspire you because you're sad or
it's
angry.
It's life. It's life, and those instances are as important as anything that has ever happened in the history of time. In terms of every instance being a place and time and affecting people. You know, you want your song to be honest and respectful of those people. Like, you don't want it to be about this song is going to make me this money, and I can pull these strings in these people's hearts to make them pay me some money, and I can gain from it. I don't want it to be like that when I write a song. I want it to be honest, and I do want to affect people, but I don't want it to be for my gain. I want it to be for the collective, you know, the respect of what's happened.
Honesty first. It has to be honest. I mean, that, like Drink Ring Jesus is a song that you know, I wrote it on the anniversary of 9/11, first anniversary, and there are very subtle references to it being a year after 9/11, but it's very subtle because a lot of people wrote a song on 9/12/01 the day after. I did, but I didn't record it because it wasn't very good. It was too raw. You know what I mean? Your nerves are too. So like maybe someday later you actually say what you really want to say, but maybe you don't. You know, maybe you never captured it. That's what Dave's talking about. You can't exploit it. It has to be. You have to really be moved to just sit down and write it for the right reasons. You have to. It has to be honest, like, and not, you know.
Talking about education, maybe it's better giving students a guitar instead of giving them a gun.
Oh yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it a lot.
But it's so easy to get a gun.
It's very easy.
A friend of a friend of mine just shot himself in the hand while he was cleaning his gun at home, and you can't do that. Like, if you have those tools, you have to be knowledgeable. But the thing is, too many people have them that don't respect it, and it's really useless in so many lifestyles. You know, I live in a city, I play guitar, I travel a lot. There's no reason I should have a gun. I don't. You know, but for me, I guess some people think of it as a protection device, but I know if anybody's going to come at me, you know, with the intention to kick my ass, they're going to kick my ass. I'm not going to fight back. You know, I'm not going to shoot them. But I guess it's just a passive thing. But like, I believe that people are good. I don't want to.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like, each one live in the city. Like, I don't own a gun now. I live in the city. I lived in the city 5 or 6 years. But like, when I lived out in a smaller town, you know, I had a rifle. You know, and I went every now and then. But like now, you know, I don't. What do I? You know, and I don't need one. I don't. You know, and I'm not a collector. I'm a collector of guitars, not guns. You know?
Education, music education, is that in school?
It's very underfunded, and it's being real good.
Country, gospel.
No. We just played in Amsterdam, and it blew my mind. There's a conservatory there teaching pop contemporary music, like giving people the tools to do what we do. And we do this because we just stumbled into it. You find this, and you find this drive, and you want to do it, and there's no reason other than your own passion to keep pursuing it. There's no school. It's all teaching yourself what you do.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.